Welcome back to B&B Spoilers channel. Today, we're diving deep into the latest scandalous revelations, jaw-dropping secrets, and fiery confrontations that will leave the residents of Los Angeles reeling. Get comfortable, because this is a wild ride you don't want to miss. The battle for Forrester Creations, Ridge's power move and Daphne's ambitions. At Forrester Creations, a storm is brewing. Ridge Forrester is more determined than ever to take back full control of his family's fashion empire. Having spent years perfecting the brand, Ridge refuses to let outside influences dictate its future. His strategy? A calculated power play designed to place Forrester Creations firmly under his command once again. But while Ridge strategizes, the company is also buzzing with excitement as Daphne Rose prepares to launch her much-anticipated perfume line. The fragrance is set to redefine the industry, promising to be a game-changer in high fashion. However, not everyone is in a celebratory mood. Carter Walton, a man known for his strong moral compass, finds himself burdened with guilt. Something from his past continues to haunt him, making it impossible for him to fully enjoy the moment. And Daphne, ever the opportunist, sees an opening. With her sharp instincts, she recognizes the perfect moment to make her move. She approaches Carter with a calculated mix of charm and sympathy, drawing him into a moment of passion he never expected. The tension reaches its peak in the main office of Forrester Creations, where Daphne boldly pulls Carter into a searing kiss. But just as their lips meet, fate intervenes. Hope Logan, a woman who has been through more heartbreak than most, happens to glance through the office window at that very moment. Hope's heart stops. Her eyes widen in disbelief as she watches Carter and Daphne locked in a passionate embrace. It's a moment that will undoubtedly send shockwaves through Forrester Creations, creating a tangled web of emotions and consequences that none of them could have foreseen. Steffi's shocking revelation to Taylor, the truth about Luna's paternity. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Steffi Forrester is in the middle of her own crisis. With her mind racing and her heart pounding, she rushes to see her mother, Taylor Hayes. The moment Taylor opens the door, she knows something is terribly wrong. Steffi, usually poised and in control, looks utterly shaken. Without wasting a second, she unloads the earth-shattering news that has turned her world upside down. "Mom, you won't believe this," Steffi says, her voice barely above a whisper. "Finn is Luna's father." Taylor's face goes pale. She gasps, struggling to process the bombshell. How could this be? How could something so massive have been hidden for so long? As Steffi explains, Taylor listens in stunned silence. The weight of the revelation is almost too much to bear. Finn, the man Steffi has built a life with, has a child he never knew existed. And the woman responsible for keeping this secret? Poppy Nozawa. Taylor shakes her head in disbelief. How could Poppy do this? How could she keep something like this from Finn all these years? The implications of this revelation stretch far beyond the immediate family. Steffi knows that once Finn fully processes the truth, it could change everything between them. Will he resent her for not seeing the signs sooner? Will he feel betrayed? And more importantly, what does this mean for their future together? Sheila Carter's obsession returns, Deacon's desperate warning. Just when it seems things couldn't get any more complicated, another dangerous element re-emerges, Sheila Carter. The mere mention of her name is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. And now, she's once again teetering on the edge of obsession. Deacon Sharp, who has seen Sheila at her worst, knows the signs all too well. He senses the familiar dark energy creeping back into her, the way her thoughts are fixated on Finn. He corners her, his voice filled with urgency. "Sheila, you have to stop this. You can't let yourself fall into this pattern again." but Sheila, always defiant, scoffs at his warning. "I just want to be close to my son," she says, her tone deceptively innocent. Deacon isn't fooled. He knows that Sheila's definition of close usually means chaos, destruction, and heartbreak. But what neither of them realizes yet is that Luna is actually Sheila's biological granddaughter. Once Sheila learns the full truth, her obsession is sure to grow even stronger. And that, Deacon knows, spells nothing but trouble. Poppy's dark secret, the tension with Sheila explodes. At the same time, Poppy Nozawa is struggling to hold on to the last remnants of her carefully constructed life. The walls are closing in, and there's no escaping the truth anymore. When she crosses paths with Sheila, the tension is immediate. Sheila, with her signature smirk, delivers a biting remark, "You'll never know Finn like I do." The words send a chill down Poppy's spine. Her hands tremble as she accidentally spills her drink. Sheila's words aren't just an insult, they're a warning. And Poppy knows that Sheila, more than anyone, is capable of unearthing secrets that should have stayed buried. The emotional reunion, Finn finally confronts Luna. Amid all the chaos, Luna Nozawa is about to have her world turned upside down. She stands frozen as Finn looks her straight in the eye, his expression a mixture of shock, pain, and longing. He speaks the words she never expected to hear, "I'm your father." Luna's breath catches in her throat. 1,000 thoughts race through her mind. Her entire life has been a lie. Everything she thought she knew about herself, about her mother, about her past, it was all false. Tears spill down her cheeks as she processes the reality of what Finn is telling her. How could Poppy do this to her? How could she steal her right to know her own father? Finn, seeing the pain in her eyes, reaches out. "I didn't know, Luna. I swear, I didn't know. But the damage has already been done. Luna's world has been shattered, and nothing will ever be the same again." The showdown at Spencer Mansion, Finn vs. Bill Spencer. Determined to get more answers, Finn heads straight for Bill Spencer's doorstep. The tension is electric as Finn demands the truth. Bill, ever the strategist, tries to explain the situation. He insists that his actions were about protection, about keeping Luna safe from the dangers of prison. But Finn isn't satisfied with half-truths. His frustration boils over, and his voice rises. "You had no right to keep this from me." Luna watches, caught between the two powerful men, her emotions in turmoil. This is only the beginning of what promises to be a long and painful reckoning. Final thoughts, what's next? With the truth finally out in the open, the fallout is just beginning. Will Finn and Luna be able to build a relationship despite the years of deception? Will Steffi and Finn's marriage survive this new reality? And what dangerous move will Sheila make now that her obsession is reigniting? One thing's for sure, this is just the beginning of an explosive new chapter in The Bold and the Beautiful. Next, we're diving into a storm of emotions, life-changing revelations, and impossible choices that will leave Bold and the Beautiful fans on the edge of their seats. As John Finn Finnegan comes face to face with the daughter he never knew he had, Steffi Forrester is forced to grapple with a future she never imagined. Will love conquer all, or is this the beginning of the end for one of B and B's strongest couples? Let's unravel the drama. Finn's unbreakable bond with Luna, a father's guilt and determination. John Finnegan is a man caught between two worlds, the life he built with Steffi Forrester and the newfound responsibility of being a father to Luna Nozawa. Just days after learning that Luna is his biological daughter, Finn finds himself standing at the doorstep of Bill Spencer's mansion, his heart pounding as he prepares to meet the young woman who will change his life forever. When the door swings open, it's Luna who greets him, her expression a mixture of confusion and curiosity. She doesn't yet realize who he is, but Finn's eyes soften as he looks at her, seeing himself in her face. The emotions bubbling inside him are overwhelming. How could he have gone so many years without knowing she existed? How could Papi Nozawa have kept this secret from him? While Finn understands that he had no control over Luna's past, the guilt still eats away at him. He can't shake the feeling that he failed her, even if it wasn't his fault. And now, he refuses to fail her again. Finn is determined to be the father Luna never had, to make up for lost time, to be present in her life in a way he wasn't able to before. But the road ahead is anything but easy, especially when it comes to Steffi. Steffi's ultimatum, a marriage hanging by a thread. Back at home, Steffi Forrester is reeling from Finn's revelation. She had braced herself for the shock of his past with Papi Nozawa, but learning that encounter resulted in a child? That's something she never saw coming. And now, Finn isn't just asking for her support, he's demanding that Luna be acknowledged as a part of their family. Steffi loves Finn, there's no doubt about that. She sympathizes with what he went through all those years ago, and she acknowledges that none of this is his fault. But love isn't always enough. The idea of bringing Luna into their lives, into the home they've built for their children, feels impossible. It's not that she hates Luna, how could she? The girl is just as much a victim as Finn. But Steffi refuses to let this newfound father-daughter relationship disrupt the stability of their family. And so, she draws a line in the sand. If Finn insists on having Luna in his life, Steffi won't stand in his way. But she won't be part of it either. Finn has to make a choice, his daughter or his family. Finn's moral dilemma, the struggle between his past and his present. John Finnegan is a man of integrity, a man who always strives to do the right thing. But how does one choose between the child they just discovered and the family they worked so hard to build? Steffi's ultimatum is crushing, but deep down, Finn already knows his answer. Despite the circumstances, despite Steffi's fears, Finn cannot turn his back on Luna. He won't let his daughter grow up thinking she was unwanted, that she was an accident, or that she isn't worthy of her father's love. He already regrets the years they lost, and he refuses to add to that pain by walking away now. At the same time, he doesn't want to lose Steffi. The thought of their marriage crumbling because of this devastates him. He wants her by his side, supporting him, understanding why this is important. But as much as she tries, Steffi can't see the situation the way he does. And that growing divide between them threatens to tear them apart. Steffi's initial support, sympathy for Finn's pain. Before things spiraled into chaos, Steffi had been nothing but supportive when Finn first confided in her about his past with Papi. When he revealed his shocking encounter from decades ago, she had held his hand, assured him that he was the victim, that Papi had been the one in control. She had been furious on his behalf, directing all her anger toward the woman who had taken advantage of him. If that had been the end of the story, things would have been fine. Steffi could live with that. But the truth was far more complicated, and once Luna entered the picture, Steffi's unwavering support began to crack. Papi's deception, a secret that changed everything. For years, Papi Nozawa carried the weight of a secret that could have changed the course of many lives. She had always known that Finn was Luna's father, yet she chose to keep that knowledge buried, hidden away in the deepest recesses of her past. Maybe she thought she was protecting Luna. Maybe she thought she was protecting herself. Either way, her decision to keep Finn in the dark set off a chain reaction of events that no one could have predicted. Now, as the truth unravels, Papi finds herself backed into a corner. She has to face the consequences of her actions, the anger of both Finn and Steffi, and the confusion of her own daughter. She may have thought she was doing what was best at the time, but now she has to live with the fallout. The emotional roller coaster, Finn's struggles and Steffi's breaking point. In the coming days, Steffi and Finn will be tested like never before. Their love, their trust, their very foundation as a couple will be put to the ultimate test. Steffi wants to believe that they can overcome this, but with Finn unwilling to compromise, she feels like she's left with no choice but to walk away. Finn, on the other hand, can't fathom the idea of losing his wife, the mother of his children. But can he really be expected to turn his back on Luna? The battle between love and duty is one he never wanted to fight, but here he is, stuck between two impossible choices. As tensions rise and emotions reach a breaking point, one thing becomes clear: the future of Steffi and Finn's marriage is hanging by a thread. Will they find a way to navigate this impossible situation together, or is this the beginning of the end? Final thoughts: what's next for Steffi, Finn, and Luna? With Finn and Luna forming an undeniable bond, Steffi is forced to decide whether she can live with the new reality of their lives. Meanwhile, Poppy Nozawa must reckon with the destruction her lies have caused, and Bill Spencer finds himself drawn into the family drama more than he ever expected. As the dust settles, the question remains: can Finn and Steffi find a way to stay together, or will Luna's arrival be the final straw? And if Finn loses his marriage, will he regret his decision, or stand by the daughter he never knew he had? One thing's for sure: Bold and the Beautiful fans won't want to miss a second of the drama. Next, we're diving into one of the most perplexing mysteries The Bold and the Beautiful has ever served up. Just what are we supposed to think of Brooke Logan and Ridge Forrester at this point? The show has thrown its viewers into an emotional tornado of confusion, frustration, and disbelief. Are we meant to sympathize with Brooke? Are we supposed to loathe Ridge? Or is the entire Bridge saga simply an endless loop of heartbreak and toxicity? Buckle up, because we're about to dissect every angle of this chaotic storyline. The enigma of Bridge: what's left to root for? Let's get straight to the heart of the matter. What exactly is the show trying to say about Brooke and Ridge? Are we supposed to hold out hope that these two can finally make it work, or are we just watching a slow-motion car crash? In the latest twist, Brooke, a woman who should know better by now, finds herself pleading with Ridge to give their love another chance. This isn't the confident, self-assured heroine fans fell in love with decades ago. Instead, she's reduced to begging for scraps of affection from a man who has shattered her heart more times than we can count. Brooke Logan is supposed to be a powerhouse, bold, fierce, and completely capable of standing on her own. But the way she throws herself at Ridge, despite knowing his history, makes it impossible not to feel sorry for her. It's not romantic, it's tragic. She deserves so much more than a man who ditches her the moment the wind changes direction. And yet, here we are again, watching her walk back into the fire as if she hasn't been burned 100 times before. Ridge Forrester, the ultimate hypocrite? And then there's Ridge Forrester. Where do we even begin? He's always been a complicated man, but lately, his behavior has reached new levels of insufferable. It's one thing to move on from Brooke, but to do it without even discussing the so-called betrayal he believed she committed? That's just cold. He didn't give her a chance to explain, didn't even attempt to understand the situation before running straight back into Taylor's arms. It was as if he was waiting for an excuse to leave. But what really sends Ridge into unredeemable territory is his sanctimonious attitude. The way he talks about Hope Logan, as if she's some social climber who needed Forrester creations to be relevant, is laughably ridiculous. Hope was born into wealth and status, she never needed the company to prove anything. And let's not forget Ridge's own track record. This is a man who has slept with his father's second wife, kissed more women than we can count, and yet somehow still thinks he has the moral high ground. The audacity. The hypocrisy is blinding, and it makes it incredibly difficult to root for Ridge as any sort of romantic lead. He's not just flawed, he's frustratingly oblivious to his own shortcomings. Taylor, hope, and the fallout from Ridge's reckless choices. Of course, Ridge's actions don't just affect Brooke. His impulsive decisions have sent shockwaves through multiple lives, leaving both Taylor and Hope in particularly difficult positions. Taylor, who has been burned by Ridge just as many times as Brooke, finds herself in yet another cycle of uncertainty. She's always been second choice, the woman Ridge runs to when things fall apart with Brooke. And now, even though she has him back, can she really trust that he won't flip-flop again? History says no. Then there's Hope Logan, who has been unfairly dragged into Ridge's judgments. Hope has had her share of controversial moments. Throwing herself at Steffi's husband wasn't her finest hour, but Ridge's harsh words about her were completely unnecessary. He speaks about her as if she's some desperate socialite clawing for relevance when, in reality, she's one of the few people in this saga who has actually tried to create something meaningful on her own terms. Ridge's ability to rewrite history to suit his own narrative is truly something to behold. He moves from woman to woman, burning bridges along the way, and yet somehow manages to frame himself as the victim every time. Brooke Logan, a powerful woman reduced to begging? The most heartbreaking part of all this is Brooke's downward spiral. Watching her beg Ridge to reunite with her in the February 19th episode was nothing short of painful. Brooke Logan, the woman who has built empires, who has survived scandal after scandal, should not be groveling for the affection of a man who has proven time and time again that he is incapable of true loyalty. The bold and the beautiful has spent decades crafting Brooke as a resilient, headstrong character. But instead of leaning into that, the writers have thrown her into a pit of self-doubt and desperation. It's not just disappointing, it's infuriating. Viewers don't want to see their leading lady reduced to this. We want to see her stand up, brush herself off, and recognize that she deserves better. And yet, here she is, stuck in an endless loop of heartbreak, making the same mistakes, and hoping for a different outcome. The never-ending love triangle, will it ever end? One of the most exhausting aspects of The Bold and the Beautiful is its relentless recycling of the Brooke-Ridge-Taylor love triangle. We've seen this play out 1,000 times before. Ridge goes back and forth, unable to commit to one woman, leaving a trail of broken hearts in his wake. Taylor and Brooke are both incredibly strong, capable women, so why are they still wasting their time on a man who doesn't know what he wants? At this point, the best possible outcome would be for both women to walk away from Ridge for good. Let him stew in his own indecisiveness. Let him realize that, for once, neither of them is waiting around for him to make up his mind.